What does fame feel like?
Where I never wanted to be famous. I wanted to be good at what I do. I still don't want to be famous. I want to be good at what I do.
One of the biggest movie stars in the world,
Denzel Washington.
Denzel Washington.
My name's actually Denzel. I'm Denzel Hayes Washington Jr. My mother started saying Denzel, just made it different.
He grew up just outside New York City in Mount Vernon. Money earning Mount Vernon, to be exact.
I grew up in Mount Vernon, New York.
Money earning Mount Vernon. What's up out there, America?
No, when you were growing up, your mother owned a hair salon?
Yeah.
My father was a minister.
So my mother started calling me Denzel, just so, she'd say Denzel and we both would show up.
As a kid, from my understanding, you used to love Westerns.
Charlie Powers got horse cartwright cornered in the street. He's trying to push a fight.
When I was a kid, Bonanza was huge. That was it. That's what we got to watch. Sunday night, Ed Sullivan show, then Bonanza.
We didn't go to the movies.
Because we had to go to church, I hated it. Because you had to go in the morning, you had to go at night, you had to go in the afternoon, it was like a job.
Denzel went to church every Sunday, but dreamed of becoming a professional athlete.
I grew up in a boys' club. Now it's called the Boys and Girls Club.
I played a little basketball.
The first time I saw Denzel Washington, I thought it was a second coming of Jackie Robinson.
I played a little football, but I didn't make the NFL.
Were you a bad kid? No, angrier as time went along.
When he was 14, his parents divorced.
I think I started getting in a little trouble after that. Started getting in fights.
I was out mischievous.
That's an interesting way to put it.
I grew up in a time in New York where heroin was big.
I had one foot in the streets. I shot dope. When I was 13 years old, I sold dope.
My three closest friends did quite a bit of time. And they did, 15 to 25, one did 28, this and that. I was the only one of the three that had a father in my life, and they didn't. My mother had enough sense to get me out of that situation before it was going to be my turn.
His mother sent him to the Oakland Military Academy out of concern for the direction he was heading.
My parents sent me in another direction.
And he knew something big was going to happen, eventually.
I was 17 when I started college. You don't have to know at 17 what you're going to do the rest of your life.
I began at Fordham University as a pre-med student. I took a course called cardiac morphogenesis. I couldn't read it, I couldn't say it, I sure couldn't pass it. So then I decided to go into pre-law, then journalism. I was a 1.8 GPA one semester, and the university very politely suggested that it might be better to take some time off. I was 20 years old. I was at my lowest point. And then one day, and I remember the exact day, March 27th, 1975, I was helping my mother in her beauty shop, and there was this older woman. I was looking in the mirror, and every time I looked at the mirror, I could see her behind me, and she was staring at me. She said, "Somebody give me a piece of paper, give me a piece of paper."
She said, "I have a prophecy." And she wrote down, she said, "This boy is going to speak to millions of people."
He kept the note and got a summer job.
Later that summer, while working as a counselor at the YMCA camp in Connecticut, we put on a talent show for the campers. And after the show, another counselor came up to me and asked, "Have you ever thought about acting? You're good at that."
And then I started acting that fall.
So when I got back to Fordham that fall, I got in and I changed my major once again for the last time.
He enrolled at Fordham's Lincoln Center campus to study acting.
And I had come into it really with no background or history in my family or whatever.
And he dove in head first.
I did a musical, found out I couldn't sing. The head of the theater department always wanted to do The Emperor Jones, and he wanted to do Othello. But he didn't have the actor.
I started with Eugene O'Neill's The Emperor Jones. Wow. First role, second role was Othello.
And he was good. Really good.
So my English teacher, Bob Stone, he wrote a recommendation letter for me for the American Conservatory Theater, which I still have. He basically said to them, if you don't have the ability to give this young talent what he needs, then don't accept him.
He went to San Francisco to study at the American Conservatory Theater, but returned to New York after a year.
I was a snob before I knew it. I thought one day I'd work on Broadway and make $600 a week and that would be fine. It wasn't like the goal is to get to Hollywood. That wasn't the goal. I was introduced to acting through theater. So I never thought about movies.
But I liked those New York movies, Taxi Driver.
You talking to me?
Mean Streets, Straight Time, Marathon Man. I really didn't see anybody who looked like me. So I didn't aspire to act in movies.
But Hollywood came calling anyway.
I had already signed with William Morris. I had already done a TV movie where I met my wife.
Oh, stupid, I gotta watch out for you.
The first television film I did right out of college was a film about Wilma Rudolph called Wilma, and she was in it. But we actually met about a year later at a party, and at a party. And I was taking her out, but I didn't have enough money to pay for the cab. I'd run out of money, so our first date, she had to pay for it.
With a new career and new girlfriend, it seemed like his luck just couldn't run out.
Hi, Daddy.
Carbon copy.
Even from your first film, from Carbon Copy, you were #1 on the call sheet.
I wasn't #1 on the payroll.
Thrust into this leading part.
Roger.
I really didn't know much about film acting.
But the studio had noticed the prominent gap in his front teeth and asked him to get it fixed. Much to Denzel's surprise, they paid for his dental work. And there he got his first real taste of star treatment.
But the critics didn't like it.
The 1981 comedy flop, Carbon Copy.
Was that a comedy?
I don't know.
It was funny to me when I saw it. A real laugher. I had a real momentum going from college on through all these roles and plays that I just mentioned, right up until doing Carbon Copy in 1980, 81, and I didn't get any work for about 6 months. But I got a small play, a one-act play about 2 guys, one named Malcolm.
You keep thinking I want your job. Who's told you that?
And the other named Elijah. And that really jump-started my career again, because the play went over very well. And that led, I went right from that play to a soldier's play.
We are soldiers.
And right from a soldier's play to St. Elsewhere.
In '82, he got his big break starring in the medical drama St. Elsewhere.
He learned the discipline of doing a weekly show.
It made for very humble and unselfish acting, I think, because there were so many actors playing leading parts, and some weeks you may have 2 lines, some weeks you may have the entire script.
He learned to play a lot of different moods.
Definitely kept you humble.
During the first season, Denzel and Pauletta moved to Los Angeles. A year later, they were married.
But you were away from the theater for quite a while.
Not even because of the jobs, it was because of my children. Because I couldn't come to New York and do an 8-show week because they were growing up in California and I couldn't commute.
Your most challenging role thus far, though, has to be a Soldier Story.
It was a real labor of love. I mean, we started that, I was in the original play.
Who they think did it, sir?
And I can remember nights playing for 30, 40, 50 people. And for it to go from that to what it is now, a major motion picture. And
Are there any suspects, sir?
It's a dream come true.
The film came out to positive reviews, and Denzel was still in every household in America weekly.
I was very adamant about presenting a good image for black people, for all people, for young kids. And I think that the character has become almost too stiff or even sterile in a sense because I was afraid of so many stereotypes.
And all shirt tails must be tucked in.
As a television star, you find that sometimes you're not considered for parts because you're on television?
Well, I think I'm in a unique situation. First of all, I think St. Elsewhere is a television show that's better than a lot of films that are made. For example, when I did this film Power for Sidney Lumet, when I met him, they basically just offered me the part. And when I met him, which was the first day of rehearsal, I said, well, you know, what happened? How did I get the part? And I assumed it had to do with Soldier Story, Soldier Story, and it didn't. He said, I saw you on St. Elsewhere.
His time on St. Elsewhere lasted until 1988, and away from the show, he could spread his wings and get his gap back.
I won't get go.
Our next film is called Cry Freedom, and it's based on the true story of a nation in turmoil, South Africa. It's the story of Steve Biko.
Are you Steve Biko?
I am.
The non-violent but militant black radical leader who died mysteriously in police custody.
Kevin Kline, I think, is very effective as the editor, and Denzel Washington is also quite good.
Kinda an understatement.
Were you surprised when you received a nomination for the Oscar Award for Cry Freedom?
And the nominees are
Denzel Washington in Cry Freedom.
I think your first loss must have been kind of the worst for Cry Freedom.
Sean Connery, let me tell you Sean Connery's story. He was up for The Untouchables. I was up that year, I think it was Cry Freedom. And he comes out to present an award and got a 3-minute standing ovation.
The name is Connery, Sean Connery.
I went to get the coat. I'm leaving without the Oscar, right? But as I'm leaving, I see the back of where they're doing getting the meal ready, the food ready for the governor's ball. I see a big tray. I'm like, I'm leaving here with something. You know what I mean? I'm from around the way. I'm leaving with something.
You first swam into my view in For Queen and Country. You played a British soldier who couldn't make a life for himself.
That ain't guns, they're pea shooters.
But I was convinced that you were a British actor because the English accent was perfect.
Yeah.
I had a British passport.
No, I wasn't.
Actor Denzel Washington plays the part of a tough cop in The Mighty Quinn.
The way you live your life now, you don't really have to sort of confront prejudice every day.
but you do in the movies that you play. What does that put you through?
I was sitting in a hotel last night, and I walked in, and there's a bunch of guys sitting at the table. And the guy says, yeah, and blah, 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 and I'm talking to these niggas, and I'm blah, blah, blah. And that's the first time I'd heard that in a while. Now, he didn't see me walk in. And the other guy said, yeah, one just sat down next to you. I'm going to use it. It's fuel.
From TriStar comes a stunning new film epic, the story of the men who fought for freedom and found glory.
In the film Glory, his character was Trip, a bitter, illiterate slave-turned-soldier.
I didn't know that blacks even fought in the Civil War. I mean, the classes I took, American history classes, didn't seem to dwell on that, or talk about it at all.
He has some capability to have gone so deep inside that there is nothing but the truth in his performance.
I always knew something was going to happen in my life, so I'm not surprised. I'm honored, and I'm thankful.
Not only was the movie a box office success, Denzel's performance was praised by critics and audiences alike.
And the winner is Denzel Washington.
My wife just kissed me so hard, you almost broke my nose.
The Oscar goes to Denzel Washington.
On my way up, I was calm as a cucumber.
Oh, thank God I get to use this.
And then just as I went off stage, it was like I was stunned.
I really can't believe it.
Like I wasn't sure if I really won or...
You know, I had dreams about Alfina going, and the winner is Danny.
It's too much.
I thank God. I thank you.
What do you do now?
Well, everything.
Heart condition. And why did they pick this picture? I mean, was it for money or what? I mean, it's just goofy.
Well, that one didn't work.
Mississippi Masala is a small budget film and not a project that would be an obvious choice for a star of Washington's stature.
For an actor who, you know, won an Academy Award, you're supposed to move up to do, I don't know, Batman Returns or something.
Mo Better Blues.
Starring Denzel Washington as a jazz man who betrays both of the women in his life, but is stubbornly loyal to the one guy he shouldn't trust, his manager, played by Spike Lee.
Fresh off Do the Right Thing, Spike was red hot.
I'm glad to be a part of a Spike Lee joint, as they say.
Denzel and I were doing a soldier's play at the Negro Ensemble Company when we met Spike Lee, right? Yeah, he came to the play. And he told us he was going to be a director. We were like, all right.
He was talking about wanting to make a film about jazz, and I was talking about how I had liked his first film, She's Got a Habit, that where he dealt with relationships and had seen things on the screen.
This was not another great masterpiece like Do the Right Thing. It's more of a love story and more of a film about music instead of a fearless look at the way we live now.
You know, I'm looking forward to doing more films with him.
But not quite yet.
Even before I wanted to be an actor, I think something like this was in the back of my mind, you know, playing cops and robbers, cowboys and Indians or whatever.
There hadn't been an actor quite like him before. Well, kinda.
You know, Sidney Poitier's always talked about how he's captained his own ship throughout his career. How would you equate your career with that? Do you follow the same guidelines?
When I started acting, which was 1975, that's when I started really looking at his work and studying him. Because again, there was nobody to look at that looked like me. I mean, you had, you know, people who danced and women who cleaned other people's houses. I did a soldier's play in New York. I remember him coming backstage, and he stopped me, he says, "You're good." I was offered a terrible screenplay film that I just hated. I called Sidney, I said, "What should I do?" And he said to me, he said, "The first 2 or 3 or 4 pictures you make will determine how you are perceived in this industry and in this town."
By the early 90s, they were calling him the next Sidney.
For too many years, Sidney Poitier's been the token black star of an all-white film industry.
I've heard it many times in my career. "Oh, you're the next Sidney Poitier." I said, you know, that's the most racist thing I've ever heard in my life. Because you're saying it can only be one person at a time. There was one 40 years ago, and now there's one now.
Plus, Sidney had never been greeted like this.
What was the reaction of people on the street when they found out that you were making Malcolm X?
We didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us.
People come up to me in any other movie and say, I can't wait, I just can't wait, you know.
Playing Malcolm X is not new for Denzel. He played Malcolm on stage in the play When the Chickens Came Home to Roost.
Chickens coming home to roost never made me sad.
In fact, it's only made me glad.
I did a play about 11 years ago about Malcolm X. I have to admit, I knew absolutely nothing about him other than, in general terms, who he was. The first thing that I did in researching the part was to read the autobiography of Malcolm X, and never been the same since.
Had I not done the play, maybe Spike would have never asked me.
How good is Denzel?
How good is Michael Jordan? People are amazed by Denzel's resemblance to Malcolm, but that's just half of it. When you see his performance, Denzel is Malcolm from the inside out. It was spooky directing him.
Well, they say luck is where opportunity meets preparation.
Denzel started preparing for this role a year before he began to shoot.
Do you know what Baines is doing? What is this Baines? Oh, you so blind. I can see this with you up.
One of the most absorbing, entertaining, and challenging biographies I've seen.
I think both Denzel Washington and Al Freeman Jr. are worthy of Oscar nominations.
Keep the tuxedo handy for the Academy Awards.
He was nominated that year, of course.
And Denzel, if you don't win that Academy Award for Best Actor, what will you say to yourself?
And makeup calls, particularly in basketballs, when the ref makes a terrible call, everybody knows it. So next time down the court, he makes another call to even it. So we go to 1992. Denzel's nominated. Al Pacino's nominated for Scent of a Woman. Mr. Pacino, great actor. He now won for Godfather 1, Godfather 2, Serpico. Hey, they f***ed over him 5 times. Denzel already won an Oscar for Glory, Best Supporting Actor.
The Oscar goes
so they
to
give it Pacino.
Al Pacino in Scent of a Woman.
Foul on the play.
You know, when you pray for rain, you got to deal with the mud, too, right?
He's a devoted family man, married to actress and singer Pauletta Pearson. Their lives center around their 4 children and their church. It's as normal a life as possible, says Denzel.
You speak so lovingly of your wife. I'm not going to come back in 5 years and find out that you're not together.
Being Mrs. Denzel Washington has made Pauletta something of a celebrity as well.
Aren't the women bold? Oh, very.
I'd never leave my wife, you know, and you know, I may give her a reason to leave me, but I'll never leave her. I won't leave her. No. We've known each other too long. We've been through too much, you know, and being a star and all of that, temptation's all around. It's all around, you know, and I haven't been perfect. I'll be quite candid about it.
The press latched on to this statement, and Denzel, who was previously a media darling, felt betrayed, and he became more guarded.
Now, I saw Whoopi Goldberg. She spoke of a lack of good leading roles for African-American actors, or for black actors generally. Has that been your experience?
It hasn't been so much my experience. I've been very fortunate.
I mean, you've got a supporting Oscar. Whoopi's got a supporting Oscar. It tends to be support roles, doesn't it?
Well, you know, I got a big house in California. I'm a fairly wealthy man. You know, I can't complain.
What does an actor do after the role of a lifetime? Well, nothing.
This is the first film I've decided to do since Malcolm X because of Kenneth, because it's Shakespeare, because it's something that will test me as an actor and that I can grow.
I met Denzel Washington over half my life ago when we made the Pelican Brief.
I'm Greg Grantham with the Washington Herald. This is my assistant.
And she called me, she was in Ireland one day, and she called me and she said, sit down, but what about Denzel Washington? And I said, well, he's a wonderful actor. I didn't think about him, obviously, because the part had not been written black.
There was supposed to be a kissing scene between the two, but Denzel refused.
And this is exactly what he said. Black women are not often seen as objects of desire on film, and they've always been my core audience.
Denzel Washington creates a frenzy among particularly women, but all people, that you cannot imagine.
I think that homosexuals deserve special treatment.
Philadelphia is a perfect example of a film that came just at the right moment, I think.
In Philadelphia, Tom Hanks is Andrew Beckett, an attorney who's sure he was fired from his prestigious law firm because he has AIDS. Determined to defend his reputation, Beckett seeks the services of high-powered personal injury attorney Joe Miller, played by Denzel Washington.
But I just don't like to put too much pressure on a film, and maybe I say that over over and over because I've been in the kind of films that, you know, they want the film to make all the difference, and people have to make the difference.
His name has become synonymous with Hollywood box office blockbusters. Say Denzel, and most people would know you're talking about one of the highest paid and most popular actors in Hollywood.
As I understand it, Denzel is the one who got you into this.
Yes. The Preacher's Wife opened in theaters nationwide on Friday.
You know, the diva of life, the big singing star. I know she's all those things, but she's the girl from around the way, like I know from Newark. That's the Whitney that I know.
He's the brother from Mount Vernon.
Around the way.
Some of your choices aren't necessarily based upon, to me it doesn't seem that they're based upon what's going to be popular.
Well, I'm an artist. I'm not I'm called a movie star, but I'm an actor.
There's not a woman I talked to whose face didn't light up when I told them I was going to interview Denzel Washington. Maybe it's because they agreed with People magazine's cover naming him the sexiest man alive.
Fame, I don't know what it is. What I do is I'm an actor and I work on my part and I play the part and then people go see it.
You've been in denial about your fame, Denzel.
He Got Game is Spike Lee's strongest and most moving film since Malcolm X 6 years ago.
Was he more of a fan to see you, or you were intimidated to be with him?
Ray Allen with a view.
I enjoy seeing other people do well, but not the day we were playing basketball. I was winning for real. His acting coach was screaming at him, "What are you doing? You're supposed to beat him."
This is really a good film.
About 24 hours ago, Denzel Washington was waking up to some pretty exciting news. He had just been nominated for an Academy Award as Best Actor for his performance in The Hurricane.
There had only been one other black actor who'd won it before.
March 12th, I believe it is, the Screen Actors Guild Awards, and I'm presenting an award to Sidney Poitier. When I won the Golden Globe, I was the first African American since Sidney Poitier, and 36 years ago to win here comes this opportunity again.
Denzel Washington's performance is really something to watch in this movie. It's powerful and enigmatic, and the story of the hurricane is quite emotional.
He'd end up losing the Oscar to Kevin Spacey that year.
On the ball, let's run it again.
Is there a cop like Alonzo? I hope not.
In Training Day, Denzel Washington makes an aggressive break from his usual hero-saint roles, playing Alonzo Harris, a sociopath with a badge who roams L.A. as the self-appointed king of the jungle.
King Kong ain't got on me.
That was actually the first movie ever that he played a bad guy in.
He was charming, he was seductive, but he was vicious.
For the first time since 1972, 3 African Americans, yourself, Denzel Washington, and Halle Berry, all up for Academy Awards.
The Oscar goes to I Love My Life, Denzel Washington.
Makeup call, Training Day.
When Denzel Washington accepted his award, and I was given the honorary award the same evening, it represented progress.
40 years I've been chasing Sidney. They finally give it to me. What they do? They give it to him the same night.
Denzel Washington is the only black man to win both a lead and supporting actor Oscar.
5 Oscar nominations, 2 wins, 2 Golden Globes.
I've never had to party with the right people or stab anybody back or lie or cheat or steal to be where I am in this business, and I'm proud of that. I'm here because of my God-given abilities and because I work hard at it.
I'm really sort of in a little zone of sort of darker characters. Training Day, Out of Time, I play a guy who sleeps with another man's wife.
But as Denzel started taking on darker roles, so became his life.
I used to say I wanted to be the best actor in the world. When I won the second Oscar, I said I wanted to be the best actor I could be. The fame is a monster.
There was this long period, I think you pegged it as like 1999 to 2014. You were bitter. Bitter about what?
What? Pick something, I don't know. Any excuse will do, and no excuse is good enough.
After Training Day, Denzel wasn't just respected, he was cemented as one of the greatest to ever do it. And he did what he'd always done.
Seaman Fisher.
Kept acting.
Denzel Washington.
Denzel Washington.
I read that you get $20 million in film now.
Blue Magic. That's a brand name. Your weapons are words. Like Pepsi. That's a brand name. I stand behind it. I guarantee
Especially B, for what Sidney did and what you do. It is, I think, for young African Americans, I can go as far as my talent.
Bro, I never wanted to be famous.
Hi, Daddy.
Why don't you come on down to the top?
Conflict if he likes.
You're gonna go dancing in 10 times in secret. I am crazy.
I wanted to be good at what I do.
He didn't want to be famous. He wanted to be good. Turns out, he was great.